Hi and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. Okay, this is Mailbag, common feature of the channel. It's where I attempt to answer questions that you guys have left on the channel, or if I can't answer them, I have a good go at answering them, or I throw them out to the wider tubing community to try and answer on behalf of somebody who's raised the question. Now, we'll get into this mailbag. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next question from Pegesso. Response to video 2, how to restore the Roland D-70 using Sysex, the factory restore. A video that a lot of people asked for, so I did it in April 2021. And Pegesso writes, I was trying to set up the zones on a D-70. I ended up muting E4, C5, G sharp 5, E6, C7. I don't know what I pushed and I can't fix this. Can you help me? And the honest answer is no. And I don't mean that I can't help you, I just don't know what you pressed, so it's very difficult to sort of think about unwind it. And to be honest, the only thing I can think that you could have done is effectively put those notes into no man's land. So when you were setting the zones up, you set the zone to run from something to something, and you then set the next one to run from something to something, and the last key that you've put in is effectively putting the note into no man's land. So I think that's possibly what's been done here, that it's not running concurrently. So to take your example, you stopped the zone on D sharp 4 and started the next zone on F4, meaning that E4 effectively is in no man's land and has no tone assigned to it, and it won't trigger anything. So because it won't trigger a MIDI signal, so I'm not sure whether that's what you've done. But if you really have no idea what you've done, the best thing to do, and honestly the best thing to do, is if you do this sort of stuff and you don't know what you've done, put it back to factory. You know, always make sure you've got to back up your custom tones that you've loaded onto a synth, and if you do make a thorough and utter cock-up of the programming or cock-up of the splits or something like that, put it back to factory. It's so much easier. I've said to you guys on the channel many times, when I acquire a synth from somebody else, I obviously have a play with what's on it to see if they've got any tones that I want to save. But by and large, the first activity I do with that synth is put it back to the factory, because you just have no idea how they've set that synth up, and you can spend hours pulling your hair out. I mean, I had an instance where I was doing something on my DX7 a few years back, and I have no idea what I did, but for some reason I could not make it do something I knew it could do, and as soon as I put it back to factory, everything came back on stream. So there you go, put it back to factory. Next question from Migraine Gain, a frequent commentator on the channel. How you doing? This one's in response to SY85 burning smell. You need props, dude. Look, I've got props. I've got keyboards, I've got speakers, I've got my signage in the corner. I've got props. I've got a board full of hammers and stuff. They actually aren't props, they're usable. I use them all the time. So there you go. Anyway, this I think is in response to the burning smell. Even Migraine writes, and he does a lot of keyboards. I think if I remember right, you've got some sort of studio set up, sort of in the north of London. And he writes, even the one I brought brand new had a funky smell when it got warmed up. And it was worse the higher the amp temperatures got. It's got something to do with the plastic used in the transform, because when I had to replace one, the smell came back for a while. And I think you're absolutely right. I think the oils and stuff that they use to sort of isolate don't get washed off properly. So when you actually fire it up, you get this smell. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just literally it's a smell. A lot of transformers produced in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s had very similar smells when you actually open the transformer up from a plastic case. It's got something to do with the plastic. It's very difficult, really, it's very different from a really acrid one you get from burnout components, and it is more like the smell you get from soldering. An eBay one I got for spares stunk like burning arse hairs. I'm not quite sure I know what burning arse hairs smell like, migraine. But I'm pretty sure that was because it had been used in a smoky environment. Remember, you could still smoke in pubs, clubs, etc. up until 2007. And I said this on a video fairly recently that, you know, one of the things you've got to remember about the UK is that you could smoke up until 2007. Then the smoking ban came in, and you couldn't smoke in public spaces. But these keyboards from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, remember, and 2000s, had been used in those environments and would have things like tar and other stuff would basically ingress the keyboard and settle on the board. Tar is a nasty one, by the way, cigarette tar. If you've got cigarette tar, the best thing to do, and I'll just diverge for a bit, the best thing to do with cigarette tar, and it's something I learned, is find somebody who's got a sonic tub or sonic cleaner, and take the circuit boards out, get some circuit board cleaner and stick them in a sonic cleaner. It takes it off beautifully, rather than having to rub the circuit boards for hours with isopropyl alcohol. So just a tip there, if you know somebody's got a sonic tub, and you need a decent sized sonic tub for some of these circuit boards, most circuit boards are around about that big in a keyboard, it really does work. And I'm going to do a video on this over Christmas, because I've got a couple of keyboards where I want to actually do the process, so I thought I might as well video it at the same time. Anyway, I'll go back to this. My DX21, my DX27, both are the same soldering smell, and even the Modi X6 had a bit of a weird smell, but sweeter odour at first. Yami must just like stinky transformers. I've got to be honest and say, I think you're absolutely right. Yamaha must have a contract with a stinky transformer company. But again, I completely agree. If it had been gigged in an old smoky venues that had in the UK during that period of time, because when these were made to when the smoking ban was, cigarette tar just sticks to surfaces, and when it gets hot it just burns off. It's horrible stuff. I used to repair at one point, and I still do occasionally when people bring them in, lights that came out of nightclubs where, you know, they would have been up where the extractor fans were and sucking the air through, and the first thing you did was you took the circuit boards out and cleaned them. I mean, I've been known to put them in a dishwasher, so there you go. But I can recall being given a synth a while back, reconditioning, getting all the sticky goop off the board and transformer was a nightmare. And this was before I found the sonic tank trick. After all that effort, I didn't get on with it, so I sold it. And that was true, actually. I'm trying to think, what synth was it? Oh God, I can't think what it is, but it was. I remember spending a long time doing this to bring it back to life, and then hated it. So it was another one that wasn't on the bucket list for very long. Catch you later. Bye bye.